It's time for Two Guys and a Goalie with Dustin Nielsen, Matt Cassian, and the goalie, Joaquin Gage.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Goalie. Nielsen, Cass, and Gage back with you once again. All brought to you by the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network with our partners over at Coolbet. Sign up for an account today. Use the code 2guys2 and the word guys. Boys, how was the weekend? How's things?
Solid. We'll probably get into it, but I
Did you curl? Did you curl this weekend?
Two world champions this weekend.
What do you mean? Who'd you play?
Mark Kennedy and
great guy,
awesome guy. Oh shoot, I forget the girl's name.
Val Sweeting.
Val Sweeting?
Yeah, Sweeting. Yeah, crushed her too.
Who was on your team?
Just a bunch of just hard-working curlers.
Bunch of ringers. We had a bunch of ringers.
I
was with the Fair Play crew, and we did what we could. None of us had. I mean, I'd curled like last time I curled. Gage, I don't know if I told you this. The last time I curled was the day after rookie party, my second year pro in Houston.
Oh, really?
That was the last time I curled. So there wasn't much curling going on, I don't think, at that time, really. So I haven't ever really curled before. And you know what? We took Val down to we lost in extra ends, and that's just because we hit one really lucky shot that I made that put us up a whole bunch in the first end. And then we just basically held on until the time ran out.
Should have tried to shake hands after every end.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So we almost were as good as you, Gage, but not quite. You did.
It was awesome.
What event was this? Where are you guys doing? Charity events? What was happening? What was this?
Yeah, it was the new. They're gonna try to make this an annual event. The Oilers bonspiel. So
okay, nice.
There some teams raise some money and put together, and they get to curl with one of us and. With me, it's just win championships. That's all I do. It seems like.
It's not all you do. You also wear leather jackets with dress shirts and ties while wearing dark jeans and curling at the same time in chucks. No less.
This can't be true. Cass texted me this on Saturday. Cass goes, so Gager's curling in this. I said, well, he's not curling in that. Because Cass said he's at a bonspiel wearing this. And I said, wait a second, he's curling? In jeans and a leather jacket and a tie and chucks? Gager, what the hell is this? What are you doing?
Winning championships.
But did you not know you were going to be curling, or did you actually plan on playing in jeans, like tight jeans?
Yeah. They're like 80% spandex. They're those ones that are basically
the stretchies.
Stretchies. So
yeah,
get into the full lunge, throwing the rocks. I was smashing rocks and hitting buttons this weekend, essentially. Dusty.
Curling's a tough sport to play, man.
The funniest thing is, I didn't realize in my attire, thinking, okay, I'm in a rink. The leather jacket will be nice because it'll be a little chilly in there. And I woke up the next day and I go, my back. I must have slept wrong. And then I was sore again today. And I'm like, why is my back sore? And actually, that's how old I am now. From sweeping, I got muscle spasms in my back from sweeping on the weekend. So, totally different muscle group there.
You guys, I've told you guys my curling story, right? The last time I curled.
No,
it's all about attire as well. I'd gone out the night before. And stayed at Yukon Jack's house the night before. And I was in a suit. And nobody in their right mind is going to go curling with a tie on in a suit, Gager. So I stopped. The only sweatpants that I had at the store that I was at was 5XLs. And I'm usually a double XL guy. I'm like, well, shit, I got to have sweats. So I buy these sweats. They're too big. I've never really curled before. It's at the Media bonspiel that they have here. And I was kind of rushing back to sweep a rock. I slipped on my extra long sweatpants, went back midair, Bobby Orr style, smashed right down on my head. The whole freaking place shook. I was seeing seeing stars. It was the first time in my life. I'm like, holy shit, what just happened to me? So I rolled out of the way of the rock so it doesn't hit me. And then I got taken out of the event the rest of the weekend. They wouldn't let me curl the rest of the weekend. That was it. That's the last time I curled. That's the last time I've touched a rock. I've gone back to this bonspiel like 3 times and just sat around and played cards and drank with everybody and watched. But they won't. I'm not allowed back on the ice. Like, it's that simple. The only concussion in my life came curling on the West End here. It was brutal.
Well, it was funny because we had to sign the waiver before, right? And I'm like, why are we signing a waiver? And then I see like 2 people bite it and get hit by rocks. I go, oh, okay, well,
that's
and
why.
I gave it the whoop 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 once too. So the Chuck Taylors aren't the best for curling, but they look fantastic.
I bought a new pair of winter Chucks. They're beautiful. They're like insulated, really nice.
That's what I had.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. I've got like the yellowish color, they're really nice.
Oh,
I
went
tough
all
to
black.
get on, but it was nice.
All black.
You're funny you mentioned being old because yesterday I went with Marshall to the ODR at Lewis Estates, and it was me and another one of the hockey coaches and our kids, and we're playing, having fun. And there was a couple like guys that must have been 14-ish, 13, 14-ish. And we're like, let's stick in the middle, play a game. So I chased these 2 kids around for like, I don't know, 45 minutes an hour. I get home and it was like Kramer after he got the crap beat out of him at the AIDS walk. Remember, he was just devastated. Like I walked into the house, Tammy's like, are you okay? I was just like, oh, I'm dead. She goes, how's Marshall doing? I was like, Marshall's fine. I said, I was just chasing around these 14-year-olds for an hour. Are you kidding me? So yeah, fun weekend. That's for sure. Lost in all of it is the Edmonton Oilers. 6 in a row. Cass, is this who they are? Is this who your 2023 Edmonton Oilers are going to be now moving forward?
Potentially. I mean, there is some moments that last game in Vancouver where they let up. Like that wasn't a perfect game. Probably the worst game in the last, like in this winning streak that we've seen, where they made the most mistakes. But it was there were still limited mistakes, I think. So, I mean, potentially, is this who they could be? Yes, as long as they don't get back to the egregious one-off errors that they were making all the time. As long as Darnell Nurse can stay reasonably consistent, then yeah, this is who they can be. I just, you have one little stretch of wins here, and I still want to hesitate a little bit on it. Like I'm excited to see it. I'm happy to see it. I'm not ready to say this is exactly who they are yet. They need to continue to do this. And I want to see what happens after, because at some point the winning streak's going to end, and I want to see how they respond after it ends. And if they get right back to where they need to be after it ends, then maybe I go, okay, they've figured this out now. Well, still staying positive right now about, it's great that they're winning and clawing into that playoff position.
Like they are, I mean, I think it's safe to say they're playing the best hockey that they've played so far this season. Gazer, do you think this is the peak for this team? I'm not talking like they'll only be worse from here, but I mean, like, with how well we've seen them play lately, is that as good as they can play, or is there even something else in there still, do you think?
That's a good question. I have to believe that there has to be more if they want to get to where they want to be. I think you've seen a definite. So a lot of guys have taken a step, and I look at 2 guys in particular, and Broberg and Bouchard, and I think you could actually throw Nurse in there too over this winning streak. They have, how would I describe their game? Simplified it a little bit more, I would say. Like it's weird to say they're better by just simplifying their game, but they've become way more reliable and I don't know. Maybe it's the Vin man coming in and showing people that just
unbeaten in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, like that steadying factor of Vinny on the back end. So I like Cass said, they're playing well. You need to see what happens when stuff hits the skids again, because it will. But there has to be. They've taken a step, some of these guys, but there has to be even another step, because it's just the level of play is just going to get ramped up that much more.
Cass, Desharnais, like they're mixing him in 5-on-5 with Nurse a little bit. He's out there. They're obviously mixing him in a penalty kill, taking some minutes off there. So I think what he's doing is, like, in an important way, taking some of that workload off of some of these other guys who might have been handling a little bit too much. Like as steady as he has been, I think it's almost important that those other guys are getting some rest in some key moments as well.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, he makes your penalty kill better with his style of play.
Because he's a penalty killer, right? Like that's his thing.
He's a penalty killer. Yeah. He does things that none of the Oilers defensemen can do. And we knew this was a problem from the start of the season for the Oilers, where they just don't have that big physical guy. He's rangy. So on the penalty kill, like he can provide both space for the goalie while also use his stick and his body to close off passing lanes and seam plays. I have found, now I haven't seen the fancy stats on this. This is where fancy stats are useful, guys. So it would be useful to look at this. I haven't yet. On him holding the offensive blue line, where he seems, in my opinion, he's done a pretty good job of keeping pucks in and being a little bit more aggressive moving forward defensively when the puck's in the offensive zone. And then he's done a good job of just using his range in the defensive zone too. And so to me, he's just been extremely steady and almost like a calming presence back there.
It's really crazy to say for a young guy. We're not young guy, but inexperienced guy.
He's not inexperienced in the NHL, Dusty.
Yeah.
Inexperienced
but that's
in the
a
NHL.
Thing, right?
Well, yes and no. But if you have a guy that to me like that's he's still a veteran guy. Now, not veteran NHLer, but he's a veteran pro hockey player. And he's a guy that has played the same way for the last number of years, grinding his way through pro. And he got here, and I don't think he changed his game at all. Like he's going to keep doing the same thing. And to me, that it's steadying. And for Darnell Nurse, it's steadying because Darnell, I don't think, has to worry about anything. Like Darnell's not worried about someone making a big mistake. Not that he was with Cody Ceci. I don't think that at all. But it's just, you have a guy that's a defensive defenseman that's meat and potatoes, that's really easy to read, that is just ultra predictable. Takes the note of Darnell Nurse having to always be the one to respond physically and always be the one that's tough in front of the net. Takes that off of his plate a little bit and just makes it easier. So, I mean, I've loved Vinny. I've loved how he's played. I've loved what he's brought to the team. He's been great, guys. I think he makes a huge difference for the group.
Gage, anything on Desharnais?
Yeah, no, just I like the fact that they went with an experienced, Cassie mentioned, he's 26 years old. He's played the same way. He's learned how to be a successful pro, and there's no waver in his game. I think he knows the lane that he has to be in to be a consistent member of their lineup every single night. And yeah, I think having him up too, with some of the younger guys, there's a little bit more competition, right? So you get this big, strong guy in there playing tough and
taking some minutes away from you.
Minutes. And I've always said I don't like Nurse playing above 22 minutes a night. I found his game way more. He looks to be way more active than it seems like he's almost holding back sometimes because he knows he's going to have to play so much. So he seems like he's reading the play. I don't know. It just seems better for him not to play, just having some of those minutes taken away from him.
All right, so the Oilers have won 6 in a row. They're right at the edge of the top 3 spots in the division right now. Wild card is much more comfortable than it was, prior to the 6-game winning streak. On my show this morning, Rashad kind of brought up, I said, what is this? How's this change things for the team moving towards the deadline? And Shager said, this is full green light, go all in, assets on the table, have to go out and add to this group. Gager, do you disagree? Do you differ in any way to that approach, or is this it? Like, it doesn't matter what you have to do? I mean, outside of Broberg, probably Holloway, I think every single other thing would be on the board. What do you think?
To me, it would be so irresponsible to do something like that. That's why,
okay,
like, it's crazy to think you would mortgage everything on this year. Ken Holland said it. He wants to be a Stanley Cup champion, obviously, but it's not just about winning one year. It's about being a consistently good hockey team for years to come. And with what he's done, you can't say over the last few years, like, there's been some hiccups, but he's situated the Oilers to be very successful over the long haul. And when I look at some of those other teams, I'm just like, man, that's in a 7-game series. That's the Oilers are close, but I don't think it's worth gambling the future of the Oilers to put it all in this year and have to restack again when you have to. This window has to be open for a while for the Oilers with their 2 big stars. And we talked about that pyramid of success, and they're missing one key ingredient to it. And that's not, you're not going to get that stud number 1 defenseman, Norris caliber guy without losing something that's integral to your team for over the next 5 to 10 years. It doesn't make any sense to me to go all in now with 6 games of winning all of a sudden from like a month ago going, oh my God, the sky is falling. It's completely irresponsible.
Gager, I love you. I accept you. I disagree with you. Pretty much every single thing you said. I do not care about 5 years. I do not care about 10 years. You have Connor McDavid. In 10 years, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl might not be here. In 10 years, they're not in their prime. You have the two of the best players in the world on your team. Dusty and Gager, I was all in on this before the 6-game win streak. With them out of a playoff position, I'm like, I'm trading everybody that I need to. I'm trading every draft pick I need to. And that hasn't changed for me. Now, ideally, is it for people that have a little bit of term? So more than just for this year? Yes. I don't want a short-term rental. I guess I'll say that. I don't want a short-term rental. But if I have to trade Holloway, I'm trading him. If I have to trade Broberg, I'm trading him. Like, and I know everyone's like, yeah, Broberg, I mean, he's been so much better the last couple of games. And it's like, yeah, he's been so much better the last couple of games. You still need a lefty defenseman. And if you can get a guy with term that's going to solidify your blue line, that gives you like a guy that's arrived today, arrive now, not Broberg in 3 years when he arrives. Now, Broberg may arrive in 3 years and he may be that guy, but that's 3 years from now. And Holloway, we've seen this year. I mean, you're worried about, like, again, do you want him to be a top 6 guy in the future? Yes, absolutely. He's playing 7 blanking minutes a night. He's playing 7 minutes a night. You need to win a cup now, or next year, or the year after. Like, you got a 2 to 3 year window here to legitimately be a really good cup contender. And the second that you win cups and contract values start going up, it's really hard to keep everybody on. We've seen that already. You know, you have a limited amount of time here potentially with Leon Draisaitl. To me, I'm just like, you got it. You throw everything at it. You throw everything at it. You think if this team doesn't come close or win a cup in the next 2 years, that Ken Holland's still going to be around? Like, no, give me a break. Like, you are selling everything, or you should be. If you're not, if you're looking to that 10 years away, I'm just like, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You gotta win today. You have to do what you need to now, guys. Everyone's just, especially in the Broberg. Sorry, this gets me fired up, but the Broberg where everyone's just like, oh, well, he's untouchable and the organization doesn't want to. Why the heck don't you want to trade this guy if you can bring in a top 4 defenseman on the left side that brings you closer to a cup? You want to win a cup for the city. The fans want to see a cup. They don't want to see just good in the playoffs. They don't want to see just okay in the playoffs. They don't want to see stretches where you have to go like, oh, man, I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs here. You got to get better today, right now. So do whatever you have to. Ken Holland, you have my blessing. Do something crazy.
Who's that player, though? Who's like there's too many restrictions on anything to get that person. I don't even know who that is.
I don't either. That's why you need a GM to do it. I'm just saying,
do it. That's the thing. Like,
if you're a Gager, if the opportunity is there, you should be exploring every option you have.
I'm not saying
if the opportunity is there, pull the trigger.
I'm not willing to bet everything on this year. Okay, this is how I took the thing, but all in right now, like to the point where it makes next year awful for your team. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all to me. I think they have to be. There's too many variables to winning a Stanley Cup. You have to be healthy. First of all, like matching up against some of those other teams, I don't think they match up against Colorado that well. I definitely don't think they match up against the Bruins that well. If you're looking to
I'm not sure anybody matches up
potential.
against the Bruins that well.
You could kind of say that, but a lot of things still have to happen for that. But I just think there's a slow progression, and you still have a lot of time with these guys. But this year, doing something, unless it's the sweetest sweetheart of a deal, I can't. I can't see getting rid of some of the assets that they have. It just doesn't make any sense. And maybe it's because I don't trust the Oilers. But I just don't think
that could be fair too. I mean, I got a few things to say from the breakdown on both sides. First of all, Cass, I love the fact that you almost swore, but instead you said blankety minutes, probably the title of this episode. And Yomsky 11 on the Twitter stream right now says, Cass, there it is. Cass, there it is, which is a perfect transition for us to get to Bruce Boudreau. Well, I mean, we'll see how this plays out. They should be on an 8-game winning streak going into the All-Star break. They get Columbus and Chicago to wrap up with like multiple days rest before both of those games. Cass, is either of those games viewed as a trap game when you're playing this well? All-Star games looming, or you haven't played in 3 days. Like, I know there's always these reasons, but if they're going to be a team that's going to be in a position to go all in, you got to take care of business against these two teams.
Yeah. I think the second one's the trap game to me.
Final one before the break and stuff. Yeah.
Last one before the break. I think like this one, it's like you have a little break, but you're still like, okay, we got to stay ready, got to stay on, got to stay up, got to keep this going. And then it's that last one where it's just like, oh, we're going to get some time off. Some festivities for the other guys. That's the trap game for me. The one where you really, really got to be aware heading into it.
I hope that both games don't fall into the same thing as the Canucks. Like jumping up to that 3-0 lead, and then they're kind of sitting back. Hopefully they can kind of it's a good game to like
win a good game. Yeah.
Just the third period, and then they drop the hammer and blow the doors off them, because you saw those tendencies kind of creep in of sitting back. And Vancouver, I would say, basically played better than the Oilers in that third period.
All right. Speaking of Vancouver, I mean, let's get into it. The cast, there it is, was a nice, maybe that's the title. I don't know. I'm torn right now between blankety minutes and Cass. There it is. One or the other. But anyway, so you see Bruce Boudreau, the fans are chanting. They're holding up signs. We're with you, Bruce. The Canucks organization has somehow managed to turn their own fans on themselves, which I guess really isn't unfamiliar for a Canadian market. But Gager, let's just start with your thoughts on watching Bruce Boudreau basically in tears on the bench as they chant his name, and just how ugly it is in Vancouver right now.
That was so awful to see. I mean, it was touching to see a heartfelt moment for a guy like Bruce Boudreau with the Vancouver fans, and how they kind of rallied behind him. And, it just, the game itself, having the Canucks players wanting to win that game, I think mostly for Boudreau there. But man, just what Rutherford's done, and it seems just crazy that they've gone to a coach that hasn't won anything and hasn't proved himself as a good, and and the amount of coaches that they're still paying, they want to they're trying to, like, I don't know how are you as a team, like we say, like, well, okay, we're building for the future and stuff, and how are you saying that you don't want Horvat, and you're like, you should be doing everything possible to have that guy. It's a mess. Thank God I'm not living on the mean streets of Kitsilano right now, Dustin, because I'm sure they're just a mess.
Cass, it's the only way to describe it. It's a mess. Oh, yeah. Like, the Canucks are a mess.
You swing. So you have a guy in Boudreau who doesn't really play, doesn't know how to, or teaches players how to play defense, is used to super loose offensive structure, not much defensive structure. Just kind of, he's a go play offense guys type of coach. And that's why some of the offensive guys really, really like him. Like they're all about him. You just swung it back completely the other way. because Rutherford's and even you look at the comments about the defensive structure, which came up publicly. Again, not something that you normally talk about publicly. If it's having behind closed doors, fine, whatever. But you swing to a coach that you think is basically going to be, go from being a player's coach in Boudreau to, not that Tocchet isn't a player's coach, but someone that's basically going to be super, super hard on everyone offensive, to play defense and play hard defense and play passionate defense. That's what you're going to see, him push. And it's like, you're going to completely suck the offensive juice out of it. And to me, I'm just like, is this going to bring the balance in between? I don't know if Tocchet's a guy. I don't know if he's a guy. I don't know. But I think, and I would wager that they interviewed one guy, maybe.
And that's it. It was just like, it was Rick Tocchet. He was worth them in Pittsburgh. He's their guy. Like, that's what it is. That's what it is. Is he the best guy for this job? Nobody knows, but he's their guy for this job.
Guy, so right? he's coming in, and that's who's going to come in. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's still going to be an absolute tire fire there. And then I don't know how they build for the future, because theoretically they should have some good, like a solid offensive core there. And are they a year away from a cup? No, but you could still have a solid team and start retooling on the fly. Like I kind of put them at, like,
they've got an old blue line. That's an issue.
Yeah, they're kind of where New York was a couple years ago. Like
the Rangers before they sent out that letter, and
the Rangers, they're kind of in that spot, like where it's like you could, and if you do it, you could retool on the fly. Now it takes some good picks, New York, Adam Fox, for example. Like it would take some good things to happen, but I think you could do it. But for now, with Tocchet coming, they're going to be a mess.
Gager, how often do you think it works when you bring in your guy? Like this might not be the guy fit for this team, but we worked with him in the past. Like, I feel like it doesn't work more often than it actually works.
But I think it would be way more beneficial to just bring your guy in next year. Like the season's done. Just get Yao, or that's his name, right? Yao. Get him to take over. He's been a
Cass played for him.
Like he was a NHL coach. Just have him ride out the rest of the year as coach, right? Don't get some guy to come in like you said, the contrast in coaching styles is going to be so dramatic here at the end. Like, basically these guys are done. Have a fresh, clean slate. These guys aren't making the playoffs. You might as well put in your best effort to get upwards towards Bedard and go from there. I just think having your guy, give him the best chance possible. Don't have him come into just the losing mentality and the sky is falling. You can't look like Tocchet deleted his Twitter feed already, right? He hasn't even in Vancouver, and he deleted his Twitter feed. Right?
It's because he knows he's going to get ripped apart by Vancouver fans. Like,
yeah, but I know,
blame him.
How is that a great start? It's crazy. It's just
a mess.
Terrible.
It's horrible.
He should be coming in. He should be at Whistler next September, all fresh as a daisy and ready to go. This is crazy, because all that they're going to remember is the crap that happened at the end of the year, and he's going down with this another sinking ship.
Can you imagine if the season doesn't turn around?
You're just gonna get rid. Well, you could have you moved Bruce for this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
buddy.
Yeah,
this is a lose.
You treated him that way for this. Like, now if they somehow completely turn the season around, then people probably go, okay. But if they don't, and that's like Gager, like if they end up being in the Bedard sweepstakes here, like if they continue to tank and be inconsistent and not have any kind of success. Like it's just gonna even like the pressure on the organization from the fans. It's just gonna continue to build, and it's just gonna look worse and worse and worse and worse. Because it's like, you're making this move now. You're saying we think we have enough here to turn the season around and to have some form of success. That's what you're doing by firing him now. And so if they don't have success, the fan base is going to lose it.
Well, Cass, you're the impulsive GM, don't you? Don't you?
Not impulsive. Hardly impulsive. No.
Don't you just fall for Bedard now? Like, why? Like,
I'm not impulsive. I am not impulsive. I am not impulsive. You have. I mean, I could argue with you all day. You are in a limited window to win, and you need to bring in the best players
we
you can.
talking
If
about
that
right
means
now?
sacrificing 10 years down the road, you do it.
But here, yeah, like you're in your window to get a potential
To get
franchise player.
Yeah,
so
keep
go.
Boudreau. Don't mess with the fans. Tank and go for him like that. I'm fine with that. Like if they would have just went that route, I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah.
But the way it was just handled is what did it. And I'm just saying, like, if they continue to tank here, the fan base is going to lose it, because it's like, well, why did you treat Boudreau this way? If you're going to tank anyways, you could have handled it way cleaner in the summer for, a coach that's been around for, in the league as long as he has it, is respected by the players like he is, and in a lot of ways adored by the fans as he is. Like it just, yeah.
And I would much rather see Bedard in a soggy Rogers Place arena than a dry, shitty 5,000 seat desert.
Well, I agree. Yeah. Well, but here's the thing: if he goes to the 5,000 or 2,500,
they might actually sell out.
Seat, well, not only that is you just know that in a year or two he's going to be playing with Austin Matthews. So
that's true. Right. You're right. Well, and this Joey on Twitter says sounds like the Canucks blamed Friedman for the coaching change, according to 32 Thoughts. I guess Friedman said somebody from the Canucks reached out and said, this is on you, like, for how it went down because of the reporting of, like, that it was going to be happening, and then it led to, like, all the, which to me just goes to show how much of a loser organization the Vancouver Canucks have become. Hold yourself accountable. Have some accountability in your organization. Like, that's just brutal.
You're going to blame Friedman for an interview that your GM did? Like,
oh yeah, I'm blaming Rashog if they trade Boberg tomorrow.
Blame me. Yeah,
both of you guys, you're on the list immediately. All right, hey, before we wrap, I did want to get you guys. It says on there, I forgot to get to it earlier. Spousal support on the lineup there. So we got Nickelback tickets on my radio show that we're gonna give away, and I said this morning I'm gonna play an instrument. And we'll do the Nickelback tickets. So in my mind, I was going to come home. I was going to get Elizabeth's little sort of piano, the little kid piano, and play a song. So I'm trying to play it, and I could not get it. So then I said, well, what else do we have here? So then they said, we have a recorder. The kids have a recorder. I said, well, give me the recorder. So I got the recorder, and I'm playing like these Nickelback songs on the recorder. And my wife is just sitting there, and she's disgusted. She's disgusted with me. She goes, it doesn't sound anything like it. I said, really? So then I had Siri play some Nickelback, and I was playing along with it. And she's fully against me doing this on the radio. Like, she's not supporting me at all in any way. And I thought spouses were always supposed to support the other person. And yet here I am now, probably going to have to play the Nickelback songs backwards and call it Nickel Backwards or something for a contest. I'm not going to get to play any instrument. And I thought for sure she'd be impressed with it, and she wasn't. And it kills me. It kills me. I came downstairs to do this podcast basically being told I'm a loser when it comes to playing Nickelback on the recorder, and I don't like that.
You know what, Dusty? Is love just telling everyone what they want to hear?
You think she's protecting me from being a fool?
What if she's protecting you from yourself here, Dusty? What if she's protecting you from yourself?
She hasn't done that in 13 years that we've been married, man. Like, why would it start now? Gage, any advice worse here? You've been married longer than me.
It only gets worse.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, you'll know just with a side tilt of the head and a glance is when I know to stop. Like, and so it's unfortunately. I say go for it, Dusty. Just
I know, me too. I think I'm gonna play it in the 6 o'clock hour and see if anybody can tell what I'm doing, and then we'll figure it out from there. So
you got to do it, man. You're the guy that don't you take next Monday off anyway? Like
I'm off next Monday and Tuesday because I'm going out of town to see some buddies for the weekend. So
yeah. So this is your weekend usually. That's
yeah. I'm basically driving down to Lethbridge to play rec league hockey with some of my buddies on Monday night. I haven't got to do it in like 5-6 years. I got some days to burn. I was like, I'm going to go play rec hockey league in Lethbridge on Monday night. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'll never grow up. But I will talk to you guys on Thursday, guys. We'll have a game to break down against the Blue Jackets. That'll be fun. Cass, I love your sweater today. I'd like to get my hands on something like that. Looks nice.
It's actually just a hoodie.
Oh, it looked like a kind of a fancier sweater.
No, did. Sorry.
Yeah,
that would be nice though. Maybe I'll have to look for one too.
Yeah,
nice.
I can't get it back now. It's not going to look cool anymore.
No, you ruined it. All right, boys. We'll talk to you later. See ya.
Later. Bye.